Hello, this is Ellen Goldberg, and welcome to the Language of the Palm. In this segment, we're going to talk about how do you go about a palm reading. I have with me Darlene, who is going to be our subject for this segment. And really, when you want to read a palm, the first thing you're going to do is take your time and just feel that hand. First thing I want is skin, because remember the skin is the key to refinement. And I see that Darlene has medium fine, somewhere between medium and fine, which means she'll come probably from the higher aspect of her archetype. Then the next thing I do is I'm going to squeeze that hand. After all, we're not shaking hands, but you don't have to just be, identifying the energy at the handshake. Feel free to just hold it. Notice how I squeeze from each side, and I'm going to press. This hand has bounce to it, and so I know that this person has a natural refinement, and she has energy. Next thing I want to know, is her mind flexible? Notice Darlene's hand opens up to its full extent, but it doesn't go backwards, so she has normal flexibility and adaptability. The thumb is a separate case. Hers goes back a little bit, so she has a normal amount of generosity. And now I'm ready to take a look at the hand, now that I've seen the flexibility of the mind, the level of refinement, the level of energy. And you don't have to start talking right away. I like to say to my clients, I need a minute to acclimate myself to the hand and to see what's going on here. I enjoy looking at the hand through the magnifying glass because it accentuates the mounts, and it's an extra little aid. Where do I start? I start with what I find interesting, and that's where I think the intuition part of palmistry comes in. After all, we feed ourselves facts and knowledge, and to me that's like feeding the intuition. Once you get to a hand, notice what interests you. Notice if you can see which are the archetypes that is strongest. We're going to put an image up on the screen now so that you can see just what I'm seeing, Darlene's right hand. I've already found out that she's right-handed, and therefore I know this is the hand of now. Look at the size of that padding under the index finger, the mount of Jupiter. And look at the beautiful padding down in the corner that she has for the mount of the moon. And she has something rare. She has a mount of Saturn that's not flat, but that actually has a little bit of height to it, and so I know it's strong. She has a pinky that stands off all by itself. She asked me, why does it do that? She doesn't do that on purpose. It's the Mercury archetype for business and for communication, showing that it wants its own space, that it's very special, and that she likes to act very independent. Darlene is in her late 30s. It's always nice to ask people how old they are. They won't always tell you, but it doesn't matter. Just make a guess. The reason is that there are ages along the hand, and it's nice to see if some special mark occurs at a certain age. Since I've determined that Darlene has a number of very strong mounts, she's got Jupiter for ambition and leadership, she's got Saturn for hard work, she's got the moon for imagination and for dreaminess and intuition, and Mercury. Between Mercury and the moon, both of them deal with communication because Mercury is the communicator, but the moon is imagination, intuition, and love of language. Darlene is a hard-working communicator who needs to be in charge. Not bad for the job she has helping to run Howcast. So, this hand, because Saturn has that very unusual aspect in her hand of being a little fuller. After all, remember, we only expect it to be flat, to be normal. I know that Darlene is a late bloomer. This is very daunting when you're young, but when you get into your 30s and you hear it, it's great news because it means that the best is yet to come. And in fact, her best is yet to come. I know that life presents challenges, and she feels them because she's very sensitive. She's got little sensitivity pads on every one of her fingers. but she's a seeker for wisdom, and she's going to keep blooming. Darlene also has a curved headline, and if we put the image up again of her hand, you'll see that the headline doesn't go straight across the hand out to practicality of this world and, just give me the facts kind of thinking. It has a very creative curve, and it goes down towards the mount of the moon. Therefore, one thing I know about you, Darlene, is you need time to think and dream. You need space alone. For you to be in a relationship, someone like Darlene, she needs both togetherness and apartness. She needs them like inhalation and exhalation. She's going to be a seeker after wisdom. She's going to get better with every year of her life. In fact, when we take a look at the lifeline, and you can see this on the image of her hand, that lifeline gets deeper, thicker, and pinker later. In fact, after about the age of 38, 39. Within the next year or two, Darlene is going to have a kind of renaissance in energy. The lifeline gets deeper, and not every hand shows this. She has someone coming into her life around the same time, someone that will feel her influence very keenly. Therefore, she's going to be energized by the whole complex of emotions and relationships that come to her. I find it really exciting to see that Darlene's lifeline gets deeper and pinker as she gets older. Not only that, you can see a little line running next to it, about a half an inch away along the Mount of Venus, and that's a line of influence. When it's on the dominant hand, it shows the person you will be the influence on. When you find that line on the recessive hand, you see who will influence you. This line is on her dominant. She will have the opportunity to influence someone, and I think she's going to like it. How do I know that? Because the lifeline deepens, and there's nothing like feelings of love or connectedness or the fun of having a relationship to make you feel more vital in your life, and she has this. It's nice to know there are things to look forward to. Darlene, being a late bloomer, can look forward to many interesting things unfolding because she gets better as she gets older.